nice working relationship, and I took his advice, and my dad's advice, and my wife's advice, and my kids' advice, and we took the money and saw the brand get the investment for which it, has benefited.
Yeah. But in 2002, you actually took back Gusto Organic after it had been sold to another company. And last year it was voted the most ethical cola in the UK. Would you take back Green&Blacks?
First of all, we took Gusto back in 2007. So it was damaged goods by the time it came back. The recipe had been changed. So we reinstated the original recipe, which was a real potent natural energy drink. All organic ingredients by then, because you could get all the ingredients organically. And it's been going ever since with new range additions, one of which was a finalist last night in the awards. So taking it back was a good idea, but it was a struggle because the brand was damaged. In the case of Green&Blacks, the brand is thriving. It's, it really is going well. Yes, if I had a couple of million, 100 million, and somebody was prepared to back me, I would be interested in doing it, but I'm not unhappy. It's not like Gusto, where you saw a great brand. I mean, I remember the Holland and Barrett buyer at one of these shows just snarling at me, saying, that was the best drink we sold in Holland and Barrett, and you let them change the recipe and it's just rubbish now, and how could you let that happen? And of course, I was impotent because that was what was happening. So...
Okay, so listen, and if theoretically you brought back Green&Black, would you keep the non-organic velvet range?
Yes, I would.
You would?
Yeah. The Cocoa Life program under which the cocoa beans are grown is fair trade with knobs on. It's got guarantees of education requirement. You can't join the program if your kids aren't in school. Women are running the program, so gender issues are being dealt with. A lot of stuff that fair trade, everything fair trade actually monitor and authenticate the scheme. So they're validating it. All my life I've sold organic and non-organic products. Whole Earth Peanut Butter is the #1 brand in the country now, but of that probably 80–90% is non-organic and the rest is organic. So you go with the market. There is a project, a guy called Yara Glover in Ghana, who is growing cacao organically. And that's a real breakthrough because nobody thought it could be done, but it's being done. So there's a future for organic cacao.
So velvet is mainly Ghanaian?
It's totally Ghanaian, yeah.
Okay, so you, since the 1990s, you've been, with the Soil Association, you've been treasurer, you've been a chair, and now you are director of certification. So, is organic important?
Organic is more than important. Without it, we are going to die. I'm not trying to be alarmist, and I know that environmentalists use scare tactics, but all we have to do is price carbon. We've got carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere, a go-go, and a huge amount comes from agriculture, up to 30%. Organic farming takes carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and puts it in the soil. Organic farmers don't get anything for that. If you put up a wind generator, you get 160 pounds for every ton of carbon dioxide that you save. If you put carbon in the ground, you get nothing. If you taxed farmers who are emitting carbon through nitrous oxide and use of chemical fertilizers and herbicides and pesticides, the cost of non-organic food would go up. And if you rewarded farmers who capture carbon, the price of organic food would go down. And it would happen at a lot less than 160 pounds a ton. It would happen at around 20 pounds a ton. So all we need is a really serious carbon tax on emitters for everybody, and a reward for people who capture this stuff, and everybody would be farming organically, and organic food would be cheaper than non-organic food. That's the vision that we have to realize.
And do you think someone like Michael Gove, who seems to be quite open-minded in this area, Is he listening?
I've read the 25-year environment plan from cover to cover. It's absolutely spot on. Whether he can deliver on it, we don't know, but they're talking about setting up an independent committee that will monitor every government for the next 25 years to make sure they stick to it. And it will, and the key to really making it work is price carbon. You know, if you reward people who do the right thing and punish people who pollute, you know, you can't see carbon dioxide. You can see, you know, filth on the street and litter and that sort of thing. So you know how, I mean, in Hastings, people are getting fined a couple of £100 for putting a cigarette out on the street. And yet farmers are putting huge amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and don't get fined anything.
Okay, so do you have a piece of business advice for all the new businesses coming up now, pioneering perhaps in a similar way to you do or do?
You're lucky in that you've got this incredibly vibrant, huge market. I was thinking back to some of the trade shows that were just in a few back rooms at the Royal Lancaster Hotel. That was the entire health food, natural food industry. You know, so things, it's much easier to get going, but also this, when you grow, you can grow too quickly. And our experience was, we were doing well, on paper we were making profits, but when it came time to pay our bills, we couldn't pay them, then we would be out of stock. So I learned, I actually called it a balance sheet forecast originally because I didn't know what a cash flow forecast was. But once I figured out what a cash flow forecast was, I've been absolutely religious about updating it every week in every business I'm involved in, because that's, everything is cash flow.
Okay, and then looking back over the time, do you have any regrets, business regrets?
Regrets, I've had a few, or je ne regrette rien. Yes, in 1998, we had a really exciting conversation with Community Foods, who were the biggest wholesaler of natural and organic food, and we were the biggest brand in the industry, and we were going to get together. We're going to have a sort of marriage of the two. It fell apart. The people at Community, the sort of management team, felt threatened by it. I think it hadn't been sold very well. So that could have been the mega thing, but, you know, maybe, you know, you never know. It could have gone bad, you know, and anyway, things turned out well, so.
Yeah. Can you